Hello and welcome to one and all again. In today's class, I'm going to explain to you the criticisms of welfare definition and also the features of scarcity definition. So in the last class, I explained to you about the features of welfare definition given by Marshall especially. And according to Marshall, economic studies mainly about the economic activities of man to promote his own welfare. So his definition for a period of time, his definition was considered to be superior than wealth definition because he gave primary importance to man and only secondary importance to wealth. So his definition was considered to be superior than the wealth definition. But the later economists, especially Sir Lionel Robbins, so he pointed out the defects in welfare definition, and whatever the criticisms he has given is mentioned in his book, and he has given his own definition, that is the scarcity definition. So first, let us see what are all the defects pointed out against the welfare definition by Marshall. Okay, let me switch over to the whiteboard so that I can explain to you the criticisms of welfare definition. Okay, coming to the criticisms of welfare definition. So if you remember welfare definition, Marshall had pointed out that economics is a social science, that is economic studies about the activities of man as a part and parcel of the society. But as per Lionel Robbins, economics should be a human science rather than instead of a social science, economics should be a human science. Now, what is the difference between human science and social science? So human science is the person living away from the society. Social action means a person living as a part and parcel of the society. So according to Marshall, economic studies about the activities of man, that is his earning and spending income, only when he's living as a part and parcel of the society. But Robin says that economics should be concerned with the activities of all the human beings, whether they are living as a part and parcel of the society or away from the society. So if a person is living away from the society, so he also needs something. He also has to buy certain goods and services, isn't it? So he is also earning money income. He is also spending the money income. So economics should be rather treated as a human science than a social science. So if you are treating economics as a human science, whether a person living within the society or away from the society, everybody is covered under the subject matter of economics. So the first criticism, economics should be a human science instead of a social science. Okay. Then the second criticism is Marshall said material requisites of welfare. That is, all the activities that are performed by the human being is done in order to promote his or her own welfare. Now, how do we measure welfare? What exactly is welfare? That's what Robin's questions. Okay, welfare is something in our mind. It's a feeling of happiness. Is it possible to measure welfare? So he strongly objected to the fact that measurement of welfare. So how do we measure welfare? And we also know that basically welfare is a subjective concept. So when I say subjective concept, it is a feeling in our mind. So whether our welfare is promoted or not, it is in our mind. Whether we are feeling happy or not, it is in our mind. So which cannot be measured. Okay, so that's why we say it is a subjective. Wealth can be measured. Wealth is an objective concept, but welfare is a subjective concept because which it is arising in our mind. So that is one thing. And also welfare differs from person to person, place to place, time to time, isn't it? So it differs according to a person, time period, according to place, etc. So when it is ever changing like that, how it is possible to study what is welfare and put it in a proper subject? So it is not possible. So that is the second defect pointed out by Lionel Robbins. Okay. Then the third criticism is Marshall very clearly mentioned materialistic goods. So what about the non-material services? So Marshall neglected the, so this whatever, this Marshall's definition neglected the non-material service. Just like Marshall, I mean, well definition, there was a criticism, isn't it? They did not include services. The same criticisms are leveled against welfare definition given by Marshall also. So because he very clearly pointed out material requisites of well-being. So Marshall definition neglected the non-material services. So if you are, as usual, if you are neglecting one part like services, one economic activity of the human being, you are again restricting the scope of the subject matter of economics. So economics should be concerned only with the goods. So if you are including both goods and services, if a person is earning income and spending income for the satisfaction of both goods and services, then every transaction of the human beings can be included in the subject matter of economics. To that much extent, the subject matter of economics will be widened. So Marshall now, I mean, omitted the services. So that is the another defect. Okay. Then next is Marshall point of well-being. That means what? To promote welfare. But whatever the money income which we are spending, all those goods or services, are they promoting our welfare? So there is a distinction between harmless goods and harmful goods, isn't it? If we are spending our money income for the purchase of harmless goods, maybe that will promote our welfare. But if we are spending our money income for the purchase of any harmful goods like tobacco, liquor, alcohol, I mean drugs, etc., that is not going to promote the welfare of the human being. But still, that has to be considered, included in the subject matter of economics, because for that also a human being is spending the money income. The moment you spend the money income on anything, either it is a harmless commodity like milk or harmful commodity like alcohol, it has to be included in the subject matter of economics. So all the economic activities of the human being, that is whatever the money income spent by a human being for the purchase of goods or services for that matter, every good is not promoting the welfare of the human being. So that is the major defect pointed out by Lionel Robbins. So that means what? All economic activities of the human being are not promoting welfare. Stressing the word, or not promoting welfare. So example, purchase of or consumption of tobacco, drugs, alcohol. So all these are not promoting the welfare of the human being. Okay. Then the last criticism is Robbins considered economics, the more serious problem faced by everyone as well as the nation is not wealth or welfare or something like that. More serious problem faced by every nation is the scarcity of resources. So that Marshall's definition completely omitted about the scarcity of resources faced by everyone. So Robbins of the view that he opined that the scarcity of resources should be the main subject matter of economics, not welfare. So Robbins opined that scarcity of resources should be the main subject matter of economics, or economics should be concerned with the scarcity of resources, not about the other things. Okay, should be the main subject matter of economics. So these were all the some of the defects pointed out by Lionel Robbins, and he gave his own definition what economic studies about in his book published later in 1932. So let me start with the scarcity, the third definition, that is the scarcity definition of economics. So that leads us to the next definition, scarcity definition. Okay. So this one, as I mentioned just now, given by Lionel Robbins. He published a book known as An Essay on the Nature and Significance of Economic Science. So this book was published in the year 1932. So he defined economics as, Lionel Robbins defined economics as economics is a study of, or economics as a study of human behavior as a relationship between ends and scarce means which have alternative uses. So this is the definition given by Lionel Robbins. So highlighting it again, ends, for your information, ends refers to wants. Okay, ends and scarce means and alternative uses. I think by this time you can understand what the definition implies, isn't it? So coming to the features of Robbins' definition. So features of scarcity definition. So economics studies the relationship between ends and scarce resources which have alternative uses. I already mentioned ends refer to wants. Okay, so the first feature is, which I explained to you already in the first class, human wants are unlimited. Scarce means, so what does that imply? Means or resources are scarce, or they are all means or resources, they are limited. And the next one, alternative uses. So these means also have alternative uses. So what is the problem here? So there is a problem of choice. So economics should be analyzing about helping the people to how to solve this problem. So if you really want to know what is the meaning of this human wants are unlimited, means are limited, alternative uses, and all these 4 points, you can refer back to the class 1 video, which I have put it in the YouTube. Okay. So this, in other words, this basically, this features of Robbins' definition, there is a problem in both uses also we have to make a choice, means also we have to make a choice, and in human wants also we have to make a choice. On both the sides, the human being is supposed to make a choice. That means, for say, on the one hand, it is human wants. So what is the basic feature of human want? They are unlimited, isn't it? So the basic feature of human want is unlimited, and also all our wants are not of equal importance or equally urgent. They differ in urgency. So they are unlimited on the one hand, but they differ in urgency. So that means what? Some of the wants have to be satisfied immediately, whereas some of the wants can be postponed. So what we have to do? We have to make a choice. Which want has to be satisfied immediately and which want can be postponed. So there we have to make a choice. So here we are at one problem. On the want side, there is a problem of choice. And when you come to the means side, what is the feature of mean? They are limited. And they also have alternative uses, isn't it? So they also have alternative uses. So again, human being has to make a choice to which use the resource has to put into. So here also there is a problem of choice. Okay. So both on the side of want as well as on the side of means, the human being has to make a choice. So this is the critical problem, the problem of choice. So this is what economics should be studying about. So that's why his definition is known as, he defined economics as a science of scarcity or a science of choice. Okay. So now this definition is considered to be more superior than Marshall's welfare definition and Adam Smith wealth definition, because it is considered, it is a scarcity definition is something universal, faced by each and everyone. So because of this reason, this definition is considered to be superior than the other two definitions. So let us check out what are all the superiority of Robbins' scarcity definition. Okay. Superiority of Robbins' definition. I mentioned this definition happens to be the universally accepted definition, because the scarcity of resources is faced by each and every one in the universe. It is a universal problem. So that's why it is a universally accepted definition. Okay. And also there is a lot of improvement in this definition. The first thing is that there is no distinction between uh, goods and services. So he included both. He didn't specifically mention about only goods or something. So both goods and services are included. So economics should be concerned about the both goods and services. When a human being spending the money income both for goods as well as the services, everything should be included in the subject matter of economics. Okay. And since he mentioned human science, so it is applicable to all kinds of societies, whether a person is living within the society or living away from the society, or also whether it's a barter system or otherwise. So all kinds of society, this problem is applicable. Okay. And also it is whether that activity is promoting welfare or not, promoting welfare or otherwise. So if just now I mentioned, if you're purchasing a harmful commodities, it is not promoting the welfare. Only if you're purchasing the consumption of harmless commodities is promoting the welfare. So the main idea of Robbins is that economists, it is not the job of the economist to say this is good and this is bad. Okay, you want to purchase milk, you purchase with your limited money income. You want to purchase milk, you can purchase with your limited money income. You want to consume alcohol, you consume. That is your wish. It is not the job of the economist to say that this is good and that is bad. So the moment you spend either for the purchase of harmful commodity like drugs or alcohol, or the harmless commodity like milk or sugar or honey or whatever it is, everything will be included in the subject matter of economics. So the scope on the subject matter of economics will be widened. So he said that there will not be any value judgments, meaning it is not the job of the economist to say this is good and this is bad. It is not the job of the economist to judge whatever the activity performed by a human being is correct or wrong. Okay. So to that much extent, all the activities of the human beings will be included in the subject matter of economics. When I say human activities, in this is the economic activities. So it will be included in the subject matter of economics. So to that much extent, the subject matter of economics will be widened. So that's why his definition is a universally accepted definition, superior than the other two definitions. And because of this reason, Robbins happened to be, he was the main person who actually elevated or gave the status of science to economics. Earlier, Adam Smith tried to separate economics from politics and tried to give the status of science. And then Marshall also tried to do the same. Since both the definitions were not universally accepted definition compared to the definition given by Robbins, Robbins succeeded in giving the status of science to economics. Okay, so this is the superiority of Robbins' definition. But still, even this definition is not without any criticism. Even this definition also has certain criticism. So let me move on to what are all the defects pointed out against the definition given by Robbins. So criticisms of scarcity definition. Now, if you remember the definition, economics is a science that studies human behavior as a relation between ends and scarce means, which have alternative uses. That was the definition given by Robbins. Now, the first defect we are finding out from this definition is, what is human behavior? He very clearly mentioned human behavior. So is it possible to uh, give a quantitative measurement of human behavior? He criticized Marshall's welfare definition, saying that welfare is a subjective concept. It is in the mind, and it differs from person to person, and for the same person in different time periods and in different places. So this, what is the meaning of human behavior then? So human behavior is also the same, isn't it? So human behavior is also not same. Human behavior also changes from one person to another person, isn't it? So that also is a subjective concept. So even though he criticized Marshall's welfare concept as a subjective concept, even this human behavior is also a subjective concept which cannot be measured. Okay, and then the other economists like McFay, John Robinson, and all, they are all of the opinion that economics should be a normative science and not positive science as suggested by Robbins. Now, what is a normative science and positive science? Norm means what? Norm means rule, isn't it? Rules and regulations. So that's what we say is standard. So that's the meaning of norm. So some of the economy, they are of the opinion that economics should be a normative science. In other words, it is the job of the economist to say this is good and this is bad, or in other words, to put it very bluntly, consumption of alcohol is harmful, consumption of milk is harmless. So a person should not be indulging in the consumption of alcohol. So he is having only a limited money income with himself. So scarcity, already there's a scarcity of resources, isn't it? With this limited money income, why should he consume harmful commodities instead of harmless commodities? So it is not the job of the economist to say this is harmful. Sorry, it is the job of the economist to say this expenditure is harmful, this expenditure is harmless. They are supposed to give value judgments to the people. They are supposed to give value judgments to the country as a whole. Okay. So even the country is supposed to allocate the resources. So even the country is looking upon the economist. Economic advisor is there in every cabinet, in every government. So the job of the economic advisor in the government They should give proper suggestions to the government on in which way the resources of the country should be allocated. So it is the job of the economic advisor to tell the government that if you allot the resources in this way, there will be income inequalities in the country. If you allot the resources in this way, there will be too much of poorer sections. So poorer sections of the people will not be benefited. So that suggestion has to be given by an economist to the government. So if you say that only economics should be only a positive science, and it is not the job of the economist to say that this is good and this is bad, if it is not the job of the economist to make any value judgments, then subject economics is not that much useful. So they are of the view that economics should be a normative sense, and economists should make value judgments. Economists should give positive suggestions, valued suggestions to the people as well as to the country. Otherwise it will also be like a positive science, like physics, chemistry and all. They are just saying what it is. Okay, the law of gravitation everybody knows. Chemistry, you mix two chemicals and what is the solution you are getting. They are just pointing out what is the fact. But economics is not like that. Economics should make value judgments, and the economists should say this is good or that is bad. Okay, so that is the second criticism. And then another criticism is pointed out by Mrs. Joan Robinson. So she pointed out that there was a Great Depression in 1930s. So what is the meaning of depression? Depression is, see, this is what a country goes in cycles like this. So let me assume. So here, this is, let us say this is should be the price level. Okay. So now the price level will go up and down like this. The price level is not constant. So when the price level increases, that is what we call it as, this is called as inflation. When the price level decrease, and then once it reaches the highest level, it starts declining and then reaches the rock bottom, and this point is called as the depression. So along with this is the general price level. Okay. So along with the general price level, the business in the country will also go up and down. So if the general price level increases, that means the country is prospering. Okay. So the business is also prospering. So it reaches the highest level, that is the inflation, that is which is also called as the boom period. And then it starts declining, and then it reaches the rock bottom, that is the depression. So this depression, this happened in 1930s to a very great extent. So to a very great extent, so that is what it is called. It was called as the, even today is called as the Great Depression. So during this period, what happened? The prices fell down. Okay. And when the prices fell down, the production was cut short. Abundant goods, prices fell down, the income fell down, the demand fell down, and there was abundant supply of goods in the market. And what happened? Finally, that resulted in unemployment. So at this point of time, it is not the scarcity of resources, it is the abundant supply of labor that resulted in economic crisis. So Mrs. Joan Robinson pointed out that it is not always the scarcity of resources that is leading to the economic problem. Sometimes the abundance of resources also creates problem. In this here, it is abundant supply of labor. So Robinson is not correct in saying that only scarcity of resources is leading to economic problem. Okay. So the next one is, Robbins says that as a relation between ends and scarce means. So he assumed that this is always static. That means what? Always our wants will be limited, unlimited, and always our means will be limited. So are we not increasing our money? Is there not any scope of increasing our money income? We are increasing our money incomes keep on increasing, isn't it? We are getting promotion, we are improving our standard of living. In the same way, the economy also keeps on developing, isn't it? So it is not always static. The world or the society is dynamic. So it is Robin's definition is very, very static. So in this way, he is mistaken saying that economic studies about the static relation between unlimited wants and limited means. So on going by this, the dynamic things that is happening in the society. So if the means are increasing, if our income is increasing, if the income is increasing from the country as a whole, then what you call it as, that is what is known as economic growth. So if the problem is, economics should analyze about, or economics should give suggestions how each and every country can develop their economy, can increase their national income, not just the scarcity of resources. So economic growth should be the main concern of economics, not the scarcity of resources. That leads to the next definition of economics, that is economic growth definition of economics, which I will explain to you in my next class. Okay. So hope it is clear to everyone. So as usual, if you people find this video useful, please like, subscribe, share to whoever in need of it. And if you have any suggestions, if you have any doubts, please don't fail to mention in the comment box. Okay. So until my next video, goodbye. Take care.